brothers, but not by birth. Family, but not by DNA. Dave and Adam are two of a kind, and they wanna borrow some of your day to talk into your ear holes about midi-chlorians and roller coasters. Those two things are unrelated, but so are they. They're unrelated at birth, like most people who aren't related. Unrelated at birth, but they're brothers in a brotherly way. Now it's time for the phenomenal brother and the golden voice of the South. They're brothers from different mothers, but they're both really proud to be unrelated at birth.
I don't know what to say.
You always know what to say.
This is the coolest. You have outdone yourself
Thank
this
you
week.
very much. You have no idea how frustrating that was. You can ask Blair later. Maybe she'll jump on and comment. But that was very...
Yeah, Porter just said he needs this song on Apple Music. I wonder if we could do that.
Well, we own the rights to it, so why not?
Yeah. Hey, we came in a little too early. We saw us counting down on the live.
Well, we got to dial it in. It's the first time. It's the first time.
My hat's a little crooked. I don't like
George
this.
Stephanopoulos with the throat slash thing, just...
Well, okay, see that... Are we going to get political?
Are we what?
Do we need to get political here?
I just merely stated a fact. He was caught on camera doing a throat slash motion. That's
okay.
all I said.
Okay.
My dad says, yeah, let's go. I don't know if that's saying we should be political or just, yeah, let's go. He's so excited, but the enthusiasm is building.
Yeah. I like that enthusiasm. I like it. Hey, Porter said, Dave, where'd you go to college?
I'm starting to wonder.
Okay.
And excuse me, everybody.
By the way,
every plant in Florida thinks it's spring, and they have all unleashed their pollen simultaneously. So, my apologies.
With our powers combined.
Flora and fauna, unite!
All right. Anyway, Golden Voice of the South, the Human Jukebox, Dave Adams, top of the state of Alabama, Madison, Alabama. You are the phenomenal brother.
That's me.
All the way from the House of Mouse, middle of the state of Florida there in St. Cloud.
Although we have to work on your placement because you were at the top of the screen. The middle of Florida is at the bottom of the screen. I think I should be somewhere in between.
Okay. To me, I was at the middle of the screen.
Oh, got it.
But the way my camera is, this would be down low. You can see my
counting
hand.
down with each other and our placement geographically of locations. We need to dial our hand motions in. That's what
we got to dial all that in. We got to dial it in. So we are live on Facebook. If you are with us now, you can comment on the actual post itself. I have a watch party on my Facebook, and Adam has one on his. We need to figure out how we can dial it all into one funnel so we can all see at one point in time. But I think we're getting the most we can out of it.
I think Facebook's going to have to help us out with that one. And for anybody who's listening to this after the fact, we're not forgetting about you, of course. If you want to interact, you can't leave a message, obviously, because you're listening to this being recorded, or after it's been recorded. But give us a call, 650-UAB-SHOW. Leave a comment, leave a message, anything you want to rant about, we will play it next week. So I want a call this week from somebody who's listening to this, not live on Facebook. Let's do it.
And not your father. We love your father, but he's
the number one fan, man.
He's the only one that calls us.
We have a whole segment based off of his questions. So
Voja asked a question.
I don't know.
Anyway, Porter says no green screen this week. Boo this man.
Oh man.
The green screen is a little bit of an issue. You see, it's a center block wall back here, and we tried taping it to the center block wall. The green screen fell down. We tried the little Loctite Post-it note things.
Yeah.
It still fell down. So we're working.
Let's be clear though, it wasn't a green screen per se.
It was a green poster board.
Poster boards. So hey, we're working on it. We're trying everything we can.
We do this as cheap as possible. By the way, here again, I started the week without a timer. So you're going to have to be. I did.
So we're going to have hand motions. So it's like a Charlie Brown's Christmas, right? A slashing motion across my throat means cut the scene short. So that's what I'm going to give you.
A slashing motion across my throat
minutes.
Means I'm George Stephanopoulos.
Oh, see, that's 2 times. Wow. He's a popular guy on our show this week.
Look, okay, I'm not going to lie. I think I told you this. The fact that I know Trump's lawyer, it makes me even that more interested in this impeachment trial.
It is.
Yes,
you're actually seeing somebody's dad at work, but like a really cool place to work. Like even if Logan's dad, or can I say the name? Even if his dad was the lawyer for the other side, it would still be cool to see somebody like on TV making arguments, like doing their thing, you know. And he's doing a pretty good job with it too. Regardless of whichever side you land on, I think we all can admit that the arguments they're making are as sound as they can be, given exactly the situation everything's been thrown into. So, yeah.
And we're not going to say which side we lay on. If you know me personally, you know.
But that's not what this is about. So,
yeah.
You know what it is about, though, Dave? You know,
like the herd of turtles upstairs.
The herd of turtles is there. Hi, Amanda.
Yeah. Your mom says sticky tack that teachers use will keep poster board on a center block wall. Kathy, please hold.
For everybody who can't see, he's actually going to get the sticky tack, yeah.
No, it does not.
Maybe you didn't use it appropriately. Did you follow the instructions?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Well.
So, sorry. Didn't work. Anyway, so what we are... I
think the problem was you had like 8 sheets of poster board
on
a cinder block wall. It was very heavy when you taped it all together.
All right, so what are we about this week, Adam?
Dave, I am so excited. So there's a funny story behind my lead topic, and my lead topic is going to lead into your lead topic.
Right.
But we finally got to ride Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. I believe that's the official name.
You got to ride Hagrid's.
We got to ride Hagrid's. The funny story behind it, though, is Blair's birthday was last week. It's a very significant round number. If you want to think about how old we are, what significant round numbers exist, you know, it's not 29. But we went to Universal on Thursday of last week. I took the day off, and we were going to spend the whole day there while the kids were at school. We get in line for Hagrid's right after 9 o'clock, and it was probably about a 45-minute to an hour queue that had built up at that point.
Right.
They were in a delayed opening. We knew they were in a delayed opening because they usually are. So we get in line, and we notice nobody's gotten in line behind us. And I remember walking in, hearing somebody say, I think it's time to close the line.
Oh,
so
no.
There's maybe 15 people behind us, and the line never built. We stood there until 11, and then they started, like, making announcements. All throughout that, they were making announcements. Then the announcements changed from, we expect this to be an hour, possibly more, to indefinite, and we don't really know. So rather than dumping the queue, which I expected them to do, they kept all of us in the queue. And all of a sudden, we got sucked in through like 2/3 of the queue, and we're really close to the dispatch zone. And it was probably about another hour and a half, and they finally come over the intercom and say, today's lessons have been indefinitely postponed. And everybody in our section of the queue started chanting, fast, pass, fast, pass, fast, pass. And I literally screamed. I got so caught up in the moment, I screamed, we'll burn this mother down, you know, like that. And we were all getting riled up on each other. And so we actually got one. We got one of the coveted Ruby express passes that they only works at Hagrid's. It's good at every attraction except for Pteranodon flyers. And there's a whole story behind that. But we got 2 yellows to make up for the time we lost in the queue. And we got 2 rubies to come back and do Hagrid's. And so we went and did Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, ate lunch at the 3 Broomsticks, and went and picked up the kids. We had a good time, even though we didn't get to ride it, knowing we'd get to come back and try it again. So the next day, the kids went to my parents to spend the weekend with them. And we went back Friday night and got there as it was getting dusk and walked up and used those passes and bypassed probably a good 90-minute worth wait to get right to the front, got on the ride, and it is absolutely incredible. I know the comparison you're going to ask me to make.
No, I'm asking you this. Eric Maloney, friend of the show, Funko Pop extraordinaire, just asked, he hears it's the best ride in Orlando.
Yeah.
Is this the case?
So I will say that it is the best roller coaster in Orlando. I still will hold, for purposes of where your topic's going to go with this, I still will hold another attraction in Orlando as the best attraction in Orlando. But in terms of roller coaster, it is the best because the theming is great. The animatronics are great. Timing was a little bit off, but they're working through that because it's a pretty complicated ride system. But spoiler alert for anybody who doesn't watch ride videos, but there's even a section of the track where you go up and come backwards like Everest, and then you back into this cave, and Devil Snare comes down from the ceiling. And if you watch the first movie when you get entrapped, or the first or second movie, when you get entrapped in Devil Snare, if you relax, you drop through it. The track drops straight down about 15 feet, and then you launch again. And I think that's what made it so good, is there are probably 4 or 5 launch points on the coaster that shoot you off like Rock and Roller Coaster all throughout the ride, because it's all pretty much flat with turns. There's no hill or chain, so it's all launch zones. And the last one is the best because there's a button on the motorcycle. The car you're sitting in is either a sidecar or a motorcycle. With
Which one were you
in? I was in the motorcycle. And there's a button on it that you push in the last one, and of course it would do it whether or not you hit it, but when you push it, you launch faster than you've launched the whole ride. And the cool thing about Harry Potter was it always felt like there was a sense of chaos in the movies, right? Like nobody was ever really in control. You could never tell what was going to happen next, and this felt like that. Right. You come around the last turn right by the unicorns, and it's wrapping up, and then Hogwarts, when you come around that last turn, is right behind that part of the attraction. And the fireworks show went off right when we came around the last curve.
Oh, that's cool.
And so that was just like the exclamation point on the end of the whole experience.
Yeah.
But by far, it is the best roller coaster in Orlando because it is constantly fast. There's not a single part of it where you're just clack, 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 clack. Or even with Rock and Roller Coaster, as much as I love it, the last probably third of that one, it doesn't really do anything. It's just a bunch of gravity turns, and you're kind of slowing down, and there's not a lot to it. Same thing with Mummy. There's a couple of parts of that are really exciting, and then the last little bit's just a bunch of broad, fast turns. This one is hills and loops, and none of it goes upside down, but it's the way, kind of almost like that California Screaming, I guess now in Credit Coaster at DCA in California works, that every turn is banked. And so you get just that G-force throughout the whole thing. So it's by far the best roller coaster in Orlando.
So Carrie is asking this and says this. I was about to say this before Carrie said it. Great. It's the best coaster in Orlando now.
Yeah.
What happens in 2020 when a certain coaster from Shanghai shows up at Magic Kingdom?
Yeah, see, that's the thing is I expect Tron Light Cycle to feel a lot like this one. The speed and the way you're enclosed and the way you take bank turns and stuff like that, I expect it to feel a lot like this one. So it's definitely going to be a good comparison between the two when the time comes.
Okay. I'm looking forward to that. I really am. I think that's going to be cool.
Whoa, what was that?
That was my phone going crazy. All right. So I guess before we get into the big thing, and Carrie, you're on here. I know you're a basketball fan. This won't be live tomorrow when this goes on our podcast, but I just need laughter. Auburn's down by 12 at Ole Miss.
Ouch.
I've got that on in the background.
Ouch.
All right. So this leads into my topic. A certain podcast friend that we have.
Yeah. He
runs in the same circles. The same guy that likes Avatar as much as if you watched or listened to last week's show.
Yep.
He has a thought about Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and another friend of his has a thought. And he actually posted this on Twitter on Friday, and I screenshotted it to you. And I want to talk about this a little bit.
Sure.
I want to caveat this before we go into it. For anybody listening that works at the Mouse with Adam, these are our opinions and our opinions only.
The funny thing about that, Dave, is that on both my watch party and the live video, one of the managers in Galaxy's Edge actually joined.
So let's wait to talk about this topic.
I don't have a problem with it because I actually have I think that my answer would be perfectly satisfactory. And it is my actual opinion, but
yeah,
why don't you go ahead and share yours, please?
Well, no, I'm going to share what this person wrote, and then we'll talk and discuss, then merge the two topics here in a second.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to say who this YouTuber is, but just know that he looks like our friend. He says, I'm just going to say it. There are only 3 real Star Wars movies. Y'all can call canon. Y'all can call Lucas. I don't give half an F. He says F. There are 3 Star Wars movies. The rest is fluff. Also, Galaxy's Edge is so half-butted. What's wrong with y'all? It's not even from actual Star Wars, you turkeys. He goes on to say, somebody asked him a question, says, I went with my wife and parents, all Star Wars fans. We literally strolled through and were like, here's a pic by the Falcon. Okay, we're done. No urge to return. Underwhelming. The YouTuber says it's not for Star Wars fans and it's not for kids. What is it? Why is the Millennium Falcon even there? For a future movie? The guy says, pretty accurate assessment. As a pretty huge fan, I didn't want Batuu. 14 acres is underwhelming. It's a franchise with enough content to do a whole darn gate. And they settle on this abomination. First off,
I think that somebody needs a little bit of attention.
Yeah, first off, let me ask you this. How long did it take for the virtual queue to fill up today?
Today, I haven't seen a report from today.
Okay.
I assume you did.
Well, no. Let's just go back to last Monday when I was there. 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
So, how many... So that park is open for what? 12, 14 hours a day?
Mm-hmm.
And how many people can the one ride, Rise of the Resistance, how many people can that hold an hour?
1,000 or so, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. So roughly...
Probably more than that.
Yeah, so let's say liberally, roughly 20,000 people flooded Hollywood studios to ride this half A-star land and ride.
But here's the thing. At the end of the day, if they just took a pick by the Falcon and left, and they didn't do Falcon, if they didn't try to do Ogas, if they didn't try to do Rise, then I get it. Yeah, if you're expecting to walk into, let's take Tomorrowland as an example. Tomorrowland, in terms of square footage, is a very attraction-heavy land, just like Fantasyland. There's probably 5 or 6 things in both of those lands to do. Galaxy's Edge is more like a frontier land, where it's the theming and the overall ambience that drives the experience, and then there's a couple attractions that drive the capacity for the land, right?
Right.
So for me, I think the thing is, if you've got to view it through the lens, and I don't want to dominate the conversation. I'll let you share your opinion.
No, go ahead.
You've got to look at this through the lens of how Disney, regardless of the movie conversation, how Disney has tied together all of the different ways they can deliver content into one cohesive storyline. And a lot of people are irritated, and I didn't like that the Last Command and Heir to the Jedi and all that kind of stuff, those books that Zahn wrote, that they were removed and become legends, because I think those are some really good ones. But they're bringing things back that Zahn can do that are now considered canon. Movies tie into comic books tie into the Disney XD shows, those tie into the books, and everything ties into the land. Now, if you want to be a true fan of Star Wars, you have to read Black Spire, then visit the land, do everything there is in the land and try to absorb it, and then understand it for what it is. If you don't do that, I honestly don't think you can say that you're a, quote, true Star Wars fan. The other aspect I'll throw out there for now is I don't think you can also say the land's not for kids, because one of my kids' favorite things to do is to go in there and go in the Disney Play app, and we did it when we were out there, and you play these games, and when you do certain things, it makes the X-Wing fire up and make noise. It makes droids make noise. It unlocks panels, and you scan things. There's a whole interactive element for kids that I think the thing that those two guys have to remember is the reason that they feel like Star Wars Land is not for kids is because guys like that have dominated the Star Wars fandom and driven out any interest kids have, right? It's the reason that most kids are burnt out of baseball by the age 13 now is because you got all these overbearing parents. They're like, aren't you going to be a Major League Baseball player one day? Go play baseball all day, and we're going to travel around and play 65 games a year and all this stuff. And it drives the interest away because they just don't want to listen to all the noise.
Tell me Star Wars Land isn't for kids.
Yeah.
Look at her shirt.
Exactly. I mean, that's that Ellie and you in front of the Falcon, and look at the look on both of your faces. And I think that's the thing is you've got to look at it as a holistic experience that fits into the Star Wars story, not a standalone land. Because if you're sitting there saying you want Disney to build an extra gate or a standalone land, this was not the thing for you. If you've immersed yourself in the culture of Star Wars, this land is going to mean something to you at the end of the day.
Right, exactly. And to your point, one other thing.
Yeah.
Look at that face.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me Star Wars Land is not for kids.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
To your point, I think you could be a fan of Star Wars without reading Black Spire Outpost. It's a tough book to read. I had to listen to the audiobook. I think you actually read the book. But to me, if Disney had given us Tatooine, or if they had given us Mustafar, or whatever, your mom says cute kids, thank you. If they had given us Mustafar, if they had given us this land that fanboys know, there is no way that the land would have been anything but perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything was out of place, if a pebble was out of place,
Yep.
it would have been horribly criticized.
Well, Disney doesn't have the attention to detail, because that's not at all how such and such would have done this and that over there in that part of the land. You know, Tatooine never looked like that in the movies, and you know, it's that whole thing would have come up. So I don't blame them a bit for going outside of the movies and not recreating something. But I think that's the whole idea: is you are supposed to go find your own Star Wars experience, not relive an experience that other people had in the movie. And that's what makes Rise so great. Go ahead.
Carrie says, I'll say as someone who isn't fully enveloped in the Star Wars story that I fully enjoyed Galaxy's Edge without knowing about Batuu or anything dealing with the Spires. The theming, characters, and everything was amazing, and I had no clue what was going on 75% of the time.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. That's how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
If you know about Vi Marati's story, if you know why they're doing all this at the outpost, it makes it even that much better.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what's going on and you learn while you're in the land, you have to, I mean, if you don't know anything about the language, you have to learn it while you're there.
Yeah, it's like visiting a real foreign country.
Right. That's even more of an experience. That makes, this is Epcot on steroids.
Yeah.
This is going to a different country at Epcot in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, and you eat their food, and you drink at their bar, and you try their milk, and you do their things, and that's the beauty of it. At the end of the day, is I think you have to go in and look at it through the lens of, and even you say it, you have to go and look at it through the lens of a completely different experience than anything else you would have ever done before. And you say it like with the background music. Why do I not hear John Williams' score as soon as I come out through the tunnel and the land is revealed? It's because in a Star Wars movie they don't hear the music.
Right. They
don't hear music, and it's those little things like that. You know, and listen, don't get me wrong. Like, I think that it would have been entirely possible for WDI and Disney to build a Star Wars experience that could have been a companion to one of the movies. Because if you think about when you go to Diagon Alley over at Universal, you go in there and you get on the Gringotts ride, and you are there in Gringotts while they're trying to steal a Horcrux from Bellatrix's vault, which was in one of the movies. Right. And even like when you're in the last scene and you're about to leave, and he's saying it's the safest place on earth, and the dragon's climbing up the side of the mountain, his foot slips on a rock. That happens in the movie. You could have made those little details stand out and had done that, but I think it actually would have been an easier / cheaper route to just copy something and bolt something onto the side of it. I think if you want to go Harry Potter and you want to copy something and you want to make it where you're walking through something you saw in the movie, that is a perfectly valid approach, and they've pulled it off very well. But if we would have opened Galaxy's Edge, the very first thing people would have said was, oh, you just copied a movie like Universal did with Harry Potter. And then they would have spoken out against that. And it's like you can't win in the Star Wars space anymore. You literally cannot win in that space. So
I mean, basically, Disney gave us something, as Star Wars fans, Disney gave us something that is fixed in time.
Yes.
Huge spoiler for Rise of Skywalker. If you haven't seen it, it's about to happen right now. Skip forward 30 seconds if you don't want to hear anything. Even now, you're going to get Kylo Ren instead of Ben Solo, because this is fixed in time in between The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
It is, yeah.
And I want that. I want that. But now, you know, Disney gave us the Clone Wars, the all that cartoon. I don't know what the Rebels cartoon and all that stuff.
Resistance now and that type of stuff.
And Resistance, right. So what Disney can do now is they can give us a shoehorned cartoon in between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker and put it on Batuu. And
I think you have to. You have to. That's the one piece I think that, and then we've talked this before, so I don't want to go too far into it, but that's the one piece I think that was missing, is if you took something at the very beginning of Rise and you tied Vi Marati and Batuu and gave it a raison d'etre and said, this is why Batuu exists, because they were able to do this, which helped the Resistance get back on its feet. Even if it's in the opening crawl, even if it was in that, I think you've got to tie that in somehow to give it a reason to be. And I think they're going to get there eventually. But I think for me, and I don't want to again ruin anybody's Rise of the Resistance experience. But one of the basic things, the premise is the Empire's coming. We got to get you off world, because the Empire's obviously got a First Order outpost on the other side of Black Spire. Well, now they've discovered that you're there. We got to get you off. Then you come back, and it's like it's made Batuu almost like a threatened area,
right?
And you could have played off of that. The very first shot could have been shuttles taking off from a planet. And look, the Resistance is now back on its feet, and they're all leaving Batuu to escape. You could have tied it in.
Right.
So I want to tie in somewhere.
Batuu. I think they did show Batuu in Rise of Skywalker.
I haven't gotten like they're in the hyperspace jump sequence, right? I haven't seen confirmation of that, but it really needs more than that. I don't even care if it's a sequel book that ties in something to Rise, but it needs a reason to be. Like, it can't just be that the Resistance established a base just to have it be somewhere that you have to escape. There needs to be something in between there that makes it really compelling. And I think that's going to come in a matter of time. So
yeah. I do think, and this is just me talking.
Yes, it is.
If we're going to call it a 100 complete land, I think we need a third ride. Because Toy Story has three rides, 2, but they added Mania into it. All these specific lands have 3 rides.
Yeah, I think the thing about it is that you've got Oga's, which is an attraction, really. You've got Savi's, which is an attraction. I mean, you've got your food and beverage location, you got your counter service location, you got your snack booth with the popcorn. You've got check all the boxes down the line, right? But I think that there are 2 rides, but there are several attractions.
Yeah,
and I think that you have to look at it through that lens of everything. If it doesn't have wheels on it, it can still be an attraction. Yeah, so I think that's what people need to think about too. But
I do think that there's no possible way that you can look at Rise of the Resistance and Smuggler's Run and say just those 2 rides, not just attractions, those 2 rides.
Yeah,
those are perfect rides.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah.
There's no way that you can tell me that you think this land is half you-know-whatted. Because that ride...
Yeah.
Carrie, I'm going to burst Adam's bubble here. From the videos I've seen, that's the best ride in Orlando.
What do you mean burst my bubble?
Because you said, Hagrid's might have been the best roller coaster, and you didn't really want to go into saying it was the best ride.
No, I don't. Rise of the Resistance is the best attraction in Orlando. It is by far the best attraction in Orlando. But Hagrid's is the best roller coaster. I don't think Hagrid's tops Rise, because there's only so much you can do with a track-based ride, like a steel track and a roller coaster car. There's only so much you can do. I think Rise goes so far beyond that it tops it. But I think they're in different categories. I don't think you can really even compare the 2. It's a completely different experience. But if you have to force rank them, Rise does beat Hagrid's out. And that's not just towing the company line. I really do believe that.
I agree. So let's do this. I promised them in our feed that we would do this.
Okay.
Compare and contrast Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade with Galaxy's Edge. Now, I don't think this is... I think you told me that this is public knowledge. So if it's not, I'm sorry. The people that helped...
I'm a little concerned.
The people that helped Universal with Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade, where did they come from?
I don't know how much public knowledge that is in public knowledge, but there have been people that have left and gone to work for Universal. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have names or a number of people.
Right. I'm not going to say names either.
But I think that if you want to compare and contrast, again, one is a novel land that is not shown anywhere else. The other is a replica of something to give you the experience of actually walking through the movies, which is Universal's whole bag, ride the movies.
Right.
I mean, that's their whole bag, right? I think in terms of detail, I think they match each other, honestly. I think that the wand experience is neat in both.
But it's not building your own safety.
but it's not building your own saber. And the problem you get at the end of the day is you build your own saber in a place that's cordoned off from everybody else. They don't get to see the ceremony. It's a secret thing because Savi's supposed to be an underground guy, right? The wand thing half the time ends up being 5 people in line waving their wand, trying to get it just right, and then a cast member or a team member has to come over and show them how to wave it just right. I mean, it doesn't always come off great, and it's not like a personalized experience because you're standing there waiting for somebody else to Wingardium Leviosa, and then you get your turn to Wingardium Leviosa, and then someone behind you does the same thing again, and I don't know, it's a cool thing, and I love buying the wands because I think, again, those to me are the legacy sabers of Harry Potter, right? You can buy someone's wand just like you can buy someone's saber. Those compare to each other. But I think that having the app drive the hacking aspect of it, where I'm controlling something and I honestly looking around don't know who else is doing it, so it's not like I'm queuing up to do something. I think that's a little bit of a better implementation than the wands per se. But I think the criteria for the experience was 2 different things at the same time.
I agree. And like you said, I'm glad that they actually didn't do a movie so you're not just walking through a movie and seeing, they took aspects of Star Wars, but made a whole new story.
Well, and
so they didn't take the cheap way out and walk the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you think about too, and I say this to Blair all the time, is that like Forbidden Journey over in Hogsmeade is a awesome ride system. How it seems seamlessly to an extent combines the physical and the digital, right? Mm-hmm. And it uses the Kuka arm technology and all that kind of stuff. But really, it's like, hey, look, you're flying. Oh, look, a dragon. Hey, there's a Quidditch match. Wow, there's a dragon. Now we're in the Forbidden Forest. Spiders. Oh, Dementors. Oh, no, look over here. There's the Whomping Willow. And now we're back. And it's just like, I call it Harry Potter's greatest hits. It's like if you could go down and do all the things you wanted to do in 3.5 minutes in Harry Potter, let's make sure you find a way to do all of those things. And coherent story-wise, I really don't see the thread that ties it all together. But again, it's about checking the boxes, whereas the 2 attractions in Galaxy's Edge are more about giving you experience you've never seen before, that stands alone without having to tie into anything else. So, just it's different reasons for being, between all of it. But I think that's where Galaxy's Edge pulls it off a little bit better. I like Gringotts more, and I tend to like Diagon Alley a little bit more than I like Hogsmeade, even though the big Hogwarts castle is there and everything. I think they pulled it off a little bit better. But I think when you try
the fact that Diagon Alley is hidden.
Yeah, oh yeah, and it's hidden behind the brick walls, and when you come around the corner, you don't see it, and then there it is. The whole way that they reveal is good, and I think the train is a great attraction for them too.
It is
in the Harry Potter land. I just think that in terms of the attractions that are in there, when you try to compare it to rides and Smugglers, I don't think you can compare those.
Yeah.
So.
And let's be honest, I am a Harry Potter fan. Yeah. I am a Star Wars fan. Yeah. But I'm even more of a Star Wars fan than I am a Harry Potter fan. Yeah. So the fact that I get to live anything in the Star Wars universe makes Star Wars that much better.
Yeah, exactly. So. Well, I know that a lot of people have said, with Smuggler's Run too, that I don't get it. Why is the Falcon there? All this kind of stuff. I mean, that's a story they can tell one day. That doesn't mean that they won't ever tell it. That may be a story that's in the works, and maybe you'll find out, and it ties into something that's important. So.
Well, you find out in the pre-show of Smuggler's Run.
I just saw in the live video you were giving me the wrap-up signal.
I was giving you the wrap-up signal.
Okay. It's this, remember?
No, I'm not being Stephanopoulos.
Anyway, make your final point, and then we can move on.
Well, my final point is this. Star Wars is better than Harry Potter. Disney is better than Universal. If you call Star Wars Land or Galaxy's Edge a half
blank,
blank land, you're dumb.
Yeah, pay attention.
Pay attention.
And FYI, shout out to my dad with the blue milk. He's chanting blue milk in the chat. I'm Team Green, but
I'm Team Swirl.
Team Swirl, there you go. That should still be a standard offering.
I agree.
It is.
Carrie says we need a bigger Jurassic Park land.
Well, they're working on a roller coaster now.
Yeah, they are. All right, so we don't have a good transition from movie review from theme park to movie review. So why don't we put in Virgil asks a question?
Okay.
And what we're going to do here is on the live feed, we're going to read it. But if you also listen to our podcast, you will hear Virgil asking this question.
That's right.
Okay, Adam and Dave. Question of the week. since you guys touched on the subject of bourbon. Here's a question. Who was one of our founding fathers that was a whiskey producer? Just a little note, in 1799, his distillery produced nearly 11,000 gallons, making it one of the largest whiskey distilleries in America at the time. So who was the founding father who was a whiskey maker?
Are you trying to stump me?
I'm sure you already know the answer.
It's George Washington.
George Washington. That's right.
George Washington. By the time he died, he was the largest producer of rye whiskey in the country. But it was not bourbon, because bourbon, it was made with rye and not a lot of corn. So it was whiskey.
Fascinating. Look at you.
The more you know.
The more you know.
And it was being made the same time as Jack Daniels was making his down here in Lynchburg.
Really? That was like the turn of the century in the 1800s?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
In fact, let me do my little Google thing here. Jack Daniels. Actually, do you know how... Here's my trivia. Dave asked a question.
Okay.
Do you know how Jack Daniels died?
No. I've been to the distillery once before, so I'm sure I heard the story, but I don't remember.
He got mad at a safe and kicked a wrought iron safe.
Okay.
And broke his foot, and his foot got gangrenous, and he died.
Wow. You think he just could have poured some alcohol on it?
You'd think. Okay, I'm sorry. Jack Daniel was 100 years later.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought that sounded a little early for
1875.
Jack Daniels, but still.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
So,
there you go. Everybody learned something today about Dave's favorite topic.
No.
Second
my
favorite topic.
No.
Third favorite?
I'd say top 10.
Okay, top 10.
Your mom said, you know how Jack Daniels died? His heart stopped.
Oh, I've got one for you. Do you know what kind of doctor Dr. Pepper is?
I'm afraid to ask.
A physician.
Okay, so our next topic. Wow.
Come on, somebody out there's laughing. I know it.
No, I hope not. Okay, our next topic. So, not only did you get to ride Hagrid's on Friday, you took Blair out to see a movie.
We did.
And what movie did you go see? Oh my gosh, my friend Kathy is laughing at your joke.
Yes! They lack of a joke. They lack of a
Carrie
joke.
says, what did the shy pebble say?
Uh-oh.
We're about 30 seconds behind the feed here. So,
right.
I don't know.
So we'll wait for the punchline. We're going to leave everybody in suspense on that one.
Yep.
We went to see Little Women.
She wants to be a little bolder.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Dream big, kids. So we went to see Little Women.
A bit tall. I wish it was a baller. I wish I had a rabbit and a hat and a girl I'd call her. Okay.
A rabbit in a hat? That doesn't make any sense. Anyways, so we went to the newly renovated Cinemark up at City Walk where they have luxury seating.
Ooh.
Yes.
I mean, you didn't go to your little Mayberry rinky-dink theater?
No, it wasn't showing here. So they were showing two new and popular movies. Little Women's on the way out. So those things, I have to say, I was not that comfortable in the luxury seating.
Oh, the one here in Huntsville is great.
When it leans all the way back, it almost feels like you're just in your shoulders kind of raise up and you're in a pod. So I couldn't quite find the right setting. And then it was actually really funny before we get into the movie review. Right before the movie started, there were 3 people in the theater, including us. And right when the movie was starting, a group of teenagers comes in. 3 people, including us.
Including
one other person.
So sometimes they're sitting by themselves.
Yes. And so, right before the movie starts, a group of teenagers comes in. And they're hee-hawing and, and all that. And about 20 minutes into it, they started taking the buttons and going click, 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 and making the thing go up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down like that. And then they started laughing. and we were probably 2 rows down in front of him, and I literally let out the loudest dad shush that I could. I've been practicing 10 years for this moment with kids, right? Let out this loud shh like that, quiet as a mouse. Not a peep the rest of the movie.
Wow.
Daddy showed up, and I felt old.
Yeah, you should. Did Blair give you the Adam?
No, she was glad I did it. She wanted to watch her movie without clicky 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 click going on in the background.
So you should have just thrown popcorn back behind you.
That's true, but then they would have thrown it back, and we'd have turned into like a popcorn war. And
yeah, I mean, so is the movie as boring as it sounds?
It actually was not that bad. So, I mean, of course, it's not going to be for everybody. And you have to find ways to be interested in the storyline, because it's one of Blair's favorite books, but I had never read the book, never had seen anything about it. So I was walking in completely blind, and it wasn't really that bad. I think the character of Joe was dynamic enough, and the way the timeline kind of bounced around, it wasn't a linear movie. It bounced between timelines. Between it would bounce up forward 20 years and then back to when they were kids and then when they were teenagers and that kind of thing. And it kept it really interesting, and there's enough humor in it actually to be kind of funny. So actually,
Little Women was written in what, the 1800s?
Yeah. It's set around the time of the Civil War.
Okay.
So there's an American history aspect there too. I walked in expecting a period piece, like thither, hello, and that kind of thing. And so I walk in expecting a movie set in like Britain in like the olden days, and it was actually set in kind of modern American times a little bit, and so I think that made it easier to digest. But just move on to your. So what movie did you say? What movie did you see, Dave? Oh my gosh! I think, Dave, you went with your wife too, right? Come on, man! I'm trying here. We got 15 minutes.
Carrie said, "I'm such a child." Yes, you're right. I am.
Oh yes, you are.
Okay, I went to see a good movie actually. I actually went to see Bad Boys for Life. Such a great movie. I will say this: it is Will Smith at his finest. What are you laughing at?
Will Smith plays the same character in every movie.
He does not.
Okay, how many times did he go woo like that?
Oh, in this movie he does. You're right.
I mean,
Did he ever go woo in 9 Pounds or Pursuit of Happiness?
He wanted to.
Or no, he didn't. Did he go woo in I Am Legend?
There was some pretty Will Smith stuff in I Am Legend, though.
Okay, but I mean, this was Will Smith at his funniest.
Yeah.
And I'll say this: Will Smith is in his late 50s, I think. Mm-hmm. That man does not age.
No.
Ever.
Martin Lawrence does, though.
Yeah. Yes, he does. Martin Lawrence, it looks bad.
Yeah.
Carrie says Will absolutely plays the exact same character in any comedy movie.
Yeah, that's valid.
I'll give you this. Yeah. The comedy wasn't as good in this one. It was still bad. It wasn't as good comedy as Bad Boys 2, but the action in this movie was spot on, and it was amazing.
Cool.
This is one that I will watch 3 or 4 times. I've got Bad Boys 1 and Bad Boys 2 memorized. I can probably quote the entire thing.
Yeah.
And this one's one that I'll probably say the same thing. And they do set up Bad Boys 4.
Wow.
Perfectly.
So what's that going to be? If this one's Bad Boys for Life, what's that one going to be?
Bad Boys Forever.
Okay.
I mean Amanda hasn't seen Bad Boys 1 or 2.
Neither have I.
Well, I'm not shocked by that. You didn't hang out with Willie and Clarence as much as I did.
That is true.
But she liked it and she enjoyed it because even though it's a trilogy, they all stand on their own. There is some callbacks to 2 and 1, but not as many, not where you really wouldn't get what's going on.
Okay.
So
both you and Amanda enjoyed it?
Both I and Amanda enjoyed it, and I got 2 new Funko Pops out of it.
Wow.
So we go to our Cinemark, which used to be called the Monaco, was bought by Cinemark about 2 years ago. And I blame Carrie for this. I hope. Carrie says it's going to be Bad Boys and Furious.
Nice.
So I blame Carrie for my Funko Pop problem.
Okay.
We walk in, and at Cinemark, they're not just selling food anymore. They actually sell T-shirts, they sell Funko Pops, they sell everything else. They had all of their Frozen 2 merchandise marked at 50% off and then some. They had the Cinemark special Annas for $4 each.
Wow.
I was like, these are probably just cheapy Funko Pops. I'm not even gonna look. So we go in the theater, we get our Coke, go in the theater, sit down. I looked. I just, you know what? I'm just gonna look. I'm just gonna see what they're worth on my little app. Each of them were $22.
Wow.
And they were selling them for $4. So I looked at Amanda and said, I'll be right back. I bought 2 of them.
Nice. 2 for the price of 1, really. I mean.
Really, 2 for the price of 1. So, yeah. It really was a no-brainer.
Well, I have to say, when I saw your text, I got really excited since we were about to walk into a Cinemark. And all they were selling at ours was blankets for $15.
They had those blankets. And honestly, I almost bought a blanket because Amanda gets cold anywhere she goes.
Yeah, we did too.
And I thought, this will be nice.
Yeah.
But here they are in the seat next to me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Movie buddies.
All right, so we got 10 minutes left in the show. I posted a meme on Instagram and Facebook earlier in the week, and I said we were going to talk about this on the show. Quick discussion. We don't have to go into great detail on this, but we did have actually some good feedback on this.
Yeah.
Carrie says, when they do the movie blankets, I buy one. There you go. So here we go. Without revealing your actual age, what's something you remember that if you told a younger person, they wouldn't understand?
Yeah.
Let me read the comments that we got on here.
Yep.
And we'll go from there. You can't tell who people are on Instagram. They just have their titles. So I'm just going to say this. Somebody said, we just had to explain encyclopedias to our kids. The Google books.
Nice.
Somebody said TV stations went off the air at midnight.
Yep.
I think this was you. You said you could only watch whatever was on TV, no on demand.
Yep.
Phones had cords and no caller ID. If you wanted to order something to be delivered from a store, you had to make a phone call with an item number from a catalog. And there was no next day delivery. It took 4 to 6 weeks, and you had no tracking information to keep up with it. But the day the Sears Wish book arrived in the mail was the best day ever.
Amen to that. That was the best, yeah.
All right, so I'm looking up our Facebook now. I should have had this pulled up. Do you have any more while this is pulling up?
I do have one. So I used to have this, I guess you could call it a toy when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And it was Mel Allen telling stories about baseball players. But they were like these little bitty baseball cards / disc things. And you put them into this little player, and they spun like a record. And they had grooves on the bottom, and it would like play a story about a certain baseball player based off of what disc you had gotten.
But
cool. It wasn't like a CD. It was literally like it physically would almost do like its own little kind of record player on the inside. And it was a baseball player, a baseball announcer on a record talking about baseball players none of the kids would know about today. In a manner in which they would never understand. So,
yeah. The last one on here was you actually had to pull out the antenna on your cordless phone.
That's right.
I can remember. Here's my 2. I can remember having to ask everybody at home, can I get on the internet?
Yeah.
Because I had to hog up the phone line.
Yeah.
And you hear this pew, 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 when you were getting on the internet.
Yep. And then you're like, sorry, I was downloading something.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it took 3 hours to download one song.
Yeah.
Now if it takes more than 2 minutes, you get upset.
Yeah.
And then the other one was, I can remember not having a cordless phone, and you had to actually find a spot. I'm going to see if I can do this. I probably lean back too much. You had to find a spot in the living room where the cord would reach, and find a spot to lay on the couch or lay on the floor and get comfortable. And then if you spin too much, you get all wrapped up in the cord, and you had to do another and unspin. See, what's funny is Kathy Cook, who in high school was Kathy Langman. Kathy, I'm sorry, you're going to hate me for this. Her and I dated in high school.
Okay.
I was actually talking to Kathy when wrapping around myself in this cord and trying to find a way to turn. And so Kathy could probably tell you some stories about me and her talking on the phone and being that way. So
I'm picturing teenage Dave. What you doing? Nothing. No, you hang up first. No, you hang up first.
And then there's also, see, Kathy, the fact that you mentioned AOL dial-up, this is funny because you also had pager code.
Yeah.
I'm looking up.
The year I started at Disney, and for probably about 4 or 5 years after that, they gave me a pager.
Yeah. She's laughing at me now, by the way.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. I bet.
The only reason I know pager code is because of Kathy.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I mean, collect calls. I mean,
yep.
You know, that kind of stuff kids wouldn't understand today.
You have a call from, please come pick me up, I'm here.
Yeah. I would even say that action figures in general, if you tried to explain that to a lot of kids today, they wouldn't understand. Yeah. You know, like that little rubber band on the inside of a G.I. Joe that would always make him snap back.
If it snapped, you're in half.
Oh, no, but I would sit in there and get a pair of tweezers, and I would take that rubber band out, and I would stand them up in a line, and I would shoot them with like a G.I. Joe, little foam dart or something, and blow them all in half.
And now those G.I. Joes are probably worth tons of money.
Yeah, exactly. And now like there's G.I. Joe mobile apps and stuff, and I don't think kids get that whole tactile play thing as much. Even when you try to engage them in it, there's really not a lot out there. And action figures, like Hot Wheel cars are like 97 cents, but they've like the DC Hot Wheel cars or ones that are themed like a character, like $6-7.
Yeah.
Action figures like $14, and there aren't action figures anymore. They're collector's items. The action figures are for you and me.
I mean,
they're not
do I
for
need
our
to show
kids.
you what my TV looks like over here?
I'm telling you, on my bookshelf, there's a Mandalorian and a Sith Trooper, and it's like, don't touch those,
Right? Here, I'm going to try something real quick.
Okay,
so
you're going to move the whole computer?
Follow me. You won't be able to see this on the podcast. That's my daughter's. But
you won't be able to see this, but in my man cave, there's a Barbie dream house.
Well, Ellie's in trouble, so she her dream house is taken away. But look at all these toys, and the ones that are in boxes that still aren't taken out yet. Yeah. So those are mine.
Pops. Do you take the Funko Pops in the Barbie dream house and just feel like, oh, Anna, Elsa, it's so good to have you at the tea party?
No.
Oh, well, you should. It would be fun.
Yeah. No. Anyway, all right. So, how are we looking on time, Adam? I don't have my timer, and I don't like this.
You don't have your timer. I think we're good. A few minutes, we can wrap up, and
All right. Well, let's
ease into the end of the show. No need to rush.
We have a new way to. Have you set up the new social yet? That we haven't played with yet.
Social.
A new video format.
What are you talking about?
Twitch.
Oh yeah, set up Twitch. I'm trying to figure it out though, man. Oh my gosh. The timer's hard enough, much less learning a whole new platform. No, but we're trying to figure out now. There's a Restream.io that we're looking at that can put this in a lot more formats and a lot more platforms.
Restream.io.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Yeah, that's the platform. Like you put in all your stream keys for all the different platforms like Facebook and YouTube and Twitch, and then you load them into that, and it broadcasts to all of those platforms for you. So you can be we could be live on like 8 different websites at the same time. So Twitch is the one I want to look at next because the Thrill Geek guys were talking about it, and I want to toy around with that and see what it's all about.
Can we be live on our own website?
Oh my gosh, man! I'll look at it. I'll get right on that, Rose.
My name's not Rose. Thank you very much.
I'll get right on that, David.
My Christian name?
Oh yeah.
Wow. I've only sang once. I've only sang once on this show.
I know, and look at how well we've done today.
I feel like I've cheated people.
Have you?
Yeah.
You're trying to think of a song reference that you can easily weave into this moment.
I am. I really am.
Everybody watching on the video could see it too. The wheels were spinning.
The wheels on the bus go round and round.
All right. Well, why don't you go ahead and just wrap it up, man? Tell them how they can find us.
All right. So if you want to be part of the show, you really need to call in, and we will play it on air. Adam, what's that phone number?
650-UAB-SHOW. It couldn't be easier, and it's toll-free. You don't have to call, collect, or put a quarter in a phone or anything. 650-UAB-SHOW. You'll hear a brief message. You'll hear a beep. Leave a message after the beep. We will play it. We will talk about it. Sherry, I'm looking at you. I want a full trip recap on a voicemail. There you go.
That'd be great. We'll get a full trip recap in an email. You know it.
I want a call from somewhere in the parks. Hey, it's Sherry, and I'm at the Magic Kingdom. Something.
Well,
something.
She's in bed now. She's an old lady.
Yeah, well, she went for a run, too. It looked like, she's been busy all day.
Yeah, she has. It looks like she's been busy drinking, but that's between you and me.
So,
And Facebook. But anyway, so you see the socials here online if you're on our Facebook Live. Every Tuesday night when we record, 8:30 to whenever, we are on Facebook Live. We would love interacting with everybody. We love to see you. We don't see you. We love to talk to you here. I see you. I see you. If you want to interact with us on socials that aren't Facebook, Instagram, we're at Unrelated to Birth. I'm at DAdams419. He is at Runtide Run. Twitter, we are at Not Related Bros. I'm DAdams419. He is at Runtide Run. We have our website, www.unrelatedbirth.com.
Where soon we might be streaming live, evidently.
We're going to try. We're on YouTube. We've got a couple of videos that aren't just the podcast. We might have some more eventually. We both have gimbals now, so we might have some more fun stuff to put there. If our editor, if I learn how to edit better video, I'm out of practice with it.
That would be good.
I went to school for it. I'm out of practice with it. But we are on YouTube. Just search for Unrelated to Birth on YouTube. I'm trying to think, what other socials am I missing? Twitch, is it Unrelated to Birth?
It is, yeah.
Okay, there's nothing there yet.
No, there's not, but more to come.
More to come. But I think that's it. I'm running through all the socials in my head, all the things in my head. I think that's what we wanted to talk about.
Cool.
So I'm going to say my ending, and then Adam's going to say his. Guys, we love y'all. We really do appreciate you. You're taking time out of your day to listen to us and just ramble on about stuff. And this is how Adam and I talk. We would be doing this any week, any day, just normally, but you take time out of your day to actually listen to us, and we think that's really cool. We love you. We know God loves you, and hope you'll have a good week. Adam, what you got?
No, that's it. I was going to say the same thing. Thank you for your time. We love you, but not as much as Jesus does. Go have a great week and be kind to each other, everybody. Bye.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.